Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much, everybody. So, as Chris mentioned, I just arrived in Sheffield, and I was very happy when I received the invitation to talk here today. And in thinking on what to talk to you about, I initially thought, okay, let's talk about smart cities. And then I said, yeah, but the people, they already know all that. They already know the possible opportunities, possible applications, things that you are able to do. Then, following from that, we also know all the opportunities and technology that we can use and explore and develop and research for realizing that opportunity of applications. So then the idea came, let's talk a little bit about a past experience. So I've been involved with smart cities research since 2014 in Brazil, where we started a project called Smart Metropolis. And that was a project that it was created inside the university, so the Federal University of Rio Grande do Norte in Natal, in the northeast of Brazil, and inside the Metrópole Digital Institute. That would be the equivalent of a new department or a new research center inside the university. The idea there was to collect, to aggregate expertise from all over the university. So we had people from computing, engineering, architecture, arts, law, psychology, all over the university. And then we started to build, so if you want to build a smart city, you cannot only deploy standalone applications. So if I'm looking from the perspective of a city, I need some kind of integration, I need some kind of ecosystem that will allow the city to actually use that applications, all that novelty. So what we've done in this project, the project is still moving on. So I left the project when I came to Sheffield, but people there are still working on it. We have around 40 lecturers, professors in the leadership, in the group of the project, and each one of those have their own research team, students, and people hired to do some work in development, research, and so on. And the idea there was, we want by 2021 to be the national center of reference for smart cities in Brazil. We managed to do that in 2018. So we already got there. We managed to get a seal of approval of the IEEE. I don't know if everyone knows about IEEE, but the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering. So it's basically a professional body, let's say. And that means that what we do there in the Smart Metropolis has direct impact at IEEE, and we are able to have a voice in some of the stuff that happens in there. So what we've done there, so going down to the details, the project was divided in 5 main work packages, so at the corner, and I was responsible for the infrastructure work package. So when we did a task force to create this project, I had some expertise because of a previous project involving an OpenStack cloud platform. And at that time, we had a very strong demand to deploy a cloud infrastructure in the university. There were several requirements, and not only inside the university, but we had a very strong relationship with the public security department of the state. So after the World Cup in Brazil, they had a very huge infrastructure. All the equipment was there, but they didn't have any actual software that would use that equipment. So they came to us with, this is the problem that we have here, and then from there we start to build a relationship with the city hall and with the government at the state level, and that's how the project kind of came to be. So that was the motivation for looking into OpenStack, but at the same time we started to look what are out there in terms of platforms, applications, software that you can use to develop your smart city. And then we managed to get the FIWARE platform. FIWARE, it means Future Internet Ware. It is a European Union project. It's been around for more than 5 years. And basically, to give a sense of the importance, nowadays, several calls of the Horizon 2020 for funding of research projects, they ask you to include reference to the fireware platform. It's something that the European Union is pushing forward very much. So the fireware platform, what is it? So this general view, each box of these, where is the, yeah. So each of these boxes represents what they call a technical chapter, so an area of research. And inside each one of those, you have several components. And the idea is, I want to build a smart city, and I want to do some kind of analysis of data from IoT and some publication of the data. So I just go there, I select the components that I need, and then I build my application on top of those components. So that's the general idea of the fireware platform. If you want to, for example, deploy the fireware platform and you provide those services. What's the advantage of those of using that? Apart from the big push from the European Union, this is a specifications-based platform. For example, the Telefónica, the company, is behind one of those components, one of those specifications. They actively use it in their infrastructure. So that's the general motivation for that. And one thing they have inside this platform is a set of security concerns. So the whole project adopts a security by design approach. And they develop several components that deal specifically with security elements. And then as part of the infrastructure work package, our job was to actually study those security elements. And when we have an application that will use a particular component, we would come in and say, yeah, for that component, that is the security element that you need. And then we would help the team building the application to incorporate that security element into their application. So basically, that was the general general idea of the infrastructure work package. So from this experience, we managed to identify several security concerns that some people, sometimes when they are developing, they didn't know it exists, so it's kind of unknowns. And then we identified some security concerns where, okay, this is a problem, but I'm not able to deal with that now. This is too expensive, or I don't have the resource to put people in there, and so on. And what I brought here was just one example of the kind of things that we used to do that is actually very simple for those who work with security. So one thing that the platform brings you is what we call a access control model for protecting software. Basically API, so the interface where you can send message to your software for the software to perform a functionality and receive the response. This model, so you have authentication where the people trying to access the system presents the ID, the password, so I am someone, this is the proof, give me access. Then you try to do something, and that's where you go to authorization. The idea of the authorization basically is there is someone at the door, you want to do something in that room. That person has no decision powers, it's just at the door. But that person has the phone number of the one who actually can make a decision. So he calls the decision point. The decision point uses your security policies. Sometimes you need some extra information. So I have the security policy, but I need to confirm any other information with someone else. So you go to what we call the information point. Based on that, you make a decision, then you tell the security guy at the door, yeah, let the person go in, or no, they cannot do what they want to do. And then you have access to your resource. All that happens under what we call a auditing or accounting. And the idea here is that every security related message is logged, so you can actually do some kind of analysis later on. So this is one of the examples that is very clear, very simple to do in a software development environment. And then what we found out is that the great majority of developers would not consider this kind of thing when they were developing their software. So this is just one example of the kind of work we've done in the project. And from there, so moving forward to the Smart Metropolis project, this is just an overview of the different applications that we managed to build and deploy over there. So starting in the right side here, we have a system that we call Rota, that's used by the military police in Natal, in the state. It's a kind of command and control system. So each car has a reinforced tablet that came during the World Cup. There is a dashboard at the security center, and the security center is able to know where each person is, each car. If there is a call, they are able to route the calls to the cars that are closest to the incident. At the same time, they're able to cover if they need to move a car and so on. And that started as a simple command and control system and moved on to something more robust with some predictive analysis and other tools that are actually being used by the police there. Another thing that we've done with the City Council was what we call Visit Natal. That is a tourism application that's being used initially during the World Cup as well. And the idea is for the tourists to have some information about the city. The nice thing we managed to do here, for example, is one day there was a match in the stadium, but based on the information that we got from the tourism application, that was all with consent of the users, we found out there was a party with a group of Italian people in the other side of the city. And after a threat analysis, the decision was actually to send some cars to that area, because if there is a lot of foreigners in a particular area drinking and playing in a beach, there's a high probability of something wrong happening. So that's one example of things that we've done. And after these two experiences, the university started a project in geolocation. So basically it's a platform where you deal with a map of the city and you build layers on top of that, in the sense that each layer is initially built by a city department, but eventually you can move forward on that. So if I deal with health issues, I'll build a layer just related to health issues. If I deal with schools, I build a layer related to schools. Actually, there is a problem with kids with flus in school, so I can combine those two layers and do some analysis and so on. So those are the examples of applications that we have there. And basically, in the short time, that was what I came to bring to you, and we can talk more afterwards with some beers and wine. Thank you very much.